Hey little cuties, Demi Bemi here and welcome to a coffee date vlog. So go ahead, grab your beverage of choice, pull up a chair, and let's chit chat for a little bit. Today I want to talk about wedding rings and sort of why I don't wear mine. If you don't know, I am married. I have been happily married for 4 years. I just don't wear a ring. This sort of all started when I saw a post on Facebook by one of my friends a while ago. She was asking if people take their ring off to go to sleep. Someone else, I think, had asked if they take their rings off, if they take a shower, just like, you know, just general, do you ever take your wedding ring off in X situation? You know what I'm saying? And this got me thinking, because it was right around the time I had stopped wearing my ring. And I thought, why would you sleep with your wedding ring on? I could see if it was like a really simple band with nothing on it, just really smooth. I could handle that. I could handle sleeping with just a plain band on, but not a ring with a giant diamond on it or really anything that has prongs. So I was thinking, yeah, duh, of course people take their ring off to sleep. People were saying that they don't take their ring off to go to sleep, and some people were saying they don't think it's okay to take their ring off while they're sleeping, or to ever really take their ring off, ever. And there was something that sort of rubbed me personally the wrong way. And if you believe in wearing your wedding ring 100% of the time, that's totally cool. Do it. Great. Congratulations. I personally just don't feel that it's very important for me to 100% of the time wear a wedding ring. And to help me explain my thought process, I found a list of reasons why you should wear your wedding ring. And this is from a Christian standpoint, I think. The person who wrote it mentions that they're a pastor, but I don't feel, it wasn't like overtly religious. I will link the article that I'm pulling up below so you can check that out, kind of see what you think. I'm just going to briefly talk about what he says and then how I feel about it. He mentions that, I'm assuming it's a he says he's a pastor. I think only pastors can be men. I don't actually know. I am not a Christian. The first point he makes: whether or not you're wearing a ring is one of the first things people notice when they meet you, and they'll often make assumptions about your availability and your commitment to your marriage based on the ring's presence or absence. Yes, I 100% agree with this. However, I don't think that it makes me any more or less married with or without a ring, if you catch my drift. I'm still very much happy in my marriage, and I am still very much married, and neither of us wear our rings. Sometimes if I'm feeling like I want some accessories, I'll wear a ring, but I don't think it's important to us for us to wear rings. We celebrate our marriage in other ways. If someone were to meet me and say, oh, like, I noticed you're not wearing a ring, would you like to go out sometime? I would say no, I'm not interested. Because firstly, I'm not interested. Secondly, I am married. By default, not interested in dating anyone ever. And I do want to point out that that is a good point that he makes. I do agree. It's one of the first things people notice about you. I personally, if I'm like, I wonder if this person's married, I will look on their finger for a ring, even though I myself do not wear a ring. And this is by no means my final judgment on someone. And I also don't feel like I see anyone as less committed if they're not wearing a ring. I actually know a few people that don't actually wear wedding rings at all. Point number 2. Your ring is a daily reminder to you that every decision you make will impact your spouse in some way. Again, I don't need a ring to remind me that I am in fact married and my decisions will affect my spouse. I 100% of the time think about my decisions affecting my spouse. We are very much aware, both of us, when it comes to making decisions, we consult each other. No, we're not like necessarily asking permission. We're not like super like angry, jealous people, but we do respect each other enough that we include each other and think about each other when we're making decisions. So I don't think that that's a valid reason to me, because if you wear something enough, you just sort of kind of forget it's there. I think that you should remember that you're married with or without a ring. Number 3, your ring is a symbol of respect for your spouse. There are numerous things that I do to show my husband that I respect him. There are things that he does to show me that he respects me. A piece of jewelry isn't going to say, hey, I respect you, if I'm staying out to all hours of the night and not letting him know where I'm at and just generally disregarding him as a person in this relationship. He does go on to say that respect isn't only measured in one way. I do agree, though, that if your spouse asks you to wear your ring, that you should wear it. Point number 4, and maybe my favorite point out of this whole list. Your ring is a first-line defense against infidelity. I'm gonna level with you. If you're going to cheat, you're going to cheat, whether or not you're wearing that ring. And yes, I know you're like, but Demi, people will take their rings off if they're gonna cheat. Do you know why? So they can signal to other people that they're not in a committed relationship. But if a person is going to cheat, they probably don't have a lot of integrity to start with. So I don't feel like the ring really matters in that situation. Let's continue. Number 5, your ring is a visible symbol to your kids that your marriage matters. This is also a very good one. There are plenty of people that wear their wedding ring up until they get divorced. And I'm not trying to say that people who end up splitting up, their marriage doesn't matter to them, but I've seen people wear a wedding ring and completely disregard and disrespect their partner and go be with someone else and then say, I'm leaving you, goodbye. So I don't think that's what shows your children that your marriage matters. I think what shows your children your marriage matters is when you communicate like adults, you show each other appropriate affection, you have fun with each other, you joke and you laugh, you're involved in each other's interests, you're supportive of each other. Those things show your children that you care. Your wedding ring isn't a default, oh, we care because we're wearing wedding rings. I think that's silly. Sure, in our society, we wear rings to say, I'm committed to another person, and your children will pick up on those things. I'm sure if you don't wear wedding rings, your children may say, hey, but Joey's parents wear wedding rings, why don't you? And then you can say, because wearing rings doesn't equal love. And I think that's the most important thing, to show your children what a healthy, loving relationship looks like between two adults. I find this one a fun one. Number 6, it's the last point that they make. There aren't really any good reasons for not wearing it. For me, wearing a piece of jewelry just isn't important. And I feel like that's a totally valid reason. With saying that though, again, if wearing a wedding ring is something that's important to you, by all means, do it. I just don't think that for me, saying that wearing a wedding ring makes you more married, I would totally disagree with that. There are plenty of people that don't act married that wear wedding rings. So to just sort of sum up why we don't wear wedding rings, because we don't feel like it. Anyways, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get off my high horse. I just want to say thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you guys have any comments about wedding rings, if you totally disagree, if you totally agree, I would love to hear what you guys are thinking as well in the comment section below. Let's have a discussion, a respectful discussion. Anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. And if you guys, again, have any comments, tips, tricks, suggestions, whatever, please leave them in the comment section below. You can hit me up on Twitter, on Instagram. Those will be down in the description box so you can find me on the internet. With that, I am going to let you guys get on with your life, and I'll see you little cuties in the next one. Bye.